Looking at displaying data, now that we've identified what type of data we might be using, there are various different ways to display it. Before we can do any of that, we need to set up some sort of table so that we can use this, therefore, to transfer the information into some sort of a graph. And we call this a frequency table, where we have gone out and collected our data and then put it into some sort of summary table. So a frequency is just the number of times something occurs, and the percentage frequency is the percentage of times a value occurs. And we'll have a look at that in an example in a minute. Sometimes a frequency table is also known as a frequency distribution. This is the same thing. Now, let's start with a bar chart. A bar chart is for categorical data. And what is a bar chart? Well, there are some pretty important things about a bar chart. Frequency is always on the vertical axis. That's really important. Always on the vertical axis. And therefore the variable, so whatever we're looking at, whether it be hair colour, eye colour, so on, would be on the horizontal axis. The height of the bar gives the frequency. The bars are drawn with gaps. That is extremely important. So a bar graph or a bar chart will always have gaps between the bars, and one bar for each category. And we try to draw the bars all the same width, and we try to have the gaps between the bars being exactly the same as well. In this example, 30 children chose a sandwich, a salad, or a pie for lunch. And so there's the data. Salad, sandwich, and pie is repeated many times. What we need to do is put that, first of all, into a table, a frequency and percentage frequency table. And then the next bit is to draw a bar chart and a percentage bar chart. Let's concentrate on the first bit, drawing a table. So what are the three things that we are looking at here? They are sandwich, salad, and pie. Okay, now we introduced this column here called the tally column, and that will help us when we want to go through and work out how many of each we've got, which is our frequency. And then our last column will be the percentage frequency. So how do I use the tally column? Let's do it for a sandwich. I'm going to go through my data and count how many sandwiches I've got. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That gives me an indication of my frequency, which is 7. Now notice how I put a cross through the data. It just helps me if I come to the end and work out that, oh, I forgot one, then I can actually add to it in the end. So I'm going to do the same thing now for salad and pie. So I've gone through now and worked out that my tally for a salad is 10, so 4 with a stroke, for 2 lots of them, and so my frequency is 10. And the last one now is pie. And so my tally for pie was 13, so therefore my frequency is 13. And so have I considered every bit of information? Well, I knew there were 30 children. That means that I should have 30 pieces of information here. 7 and 10 and 13. Does that add up to 30? Yes, it does. So I haven't missed anything. Okay, I need to work out my percentage frequency now. My percentage frequency, I take the frequency, divide it by the total amount, and then times by 100. So 7 divided by 30 times by 100. What does that give you? 23.33. All right, I'm going to do the same for the next two. So 10 out of 30 times by 100. 33.33, and 13 divided by 30 times by 100. Of course, it should all add up to 100%. 43.33. Now, I'm probably off a little bit because of rounding issues here, but overall, if I added up all of these, I'm pretty close to 100%. All right, so I'm up to part B where I have to draw the bar chart. And my bar chart says that the frequency is always going to be on my vertical axis. So I'm going to draw my bar chart and my percentage bar chart on the same axis. So over this side is going to be my percentage frequency. Let's set that up. So I've set up my scale on my vertical axis. On the left hand side is the frequency. I've gone up in 2s all the way up to 14, purely because my biggest frequency there is 13. So I don't have to go any higher than that. Now on the right hand side, I have gone up in percentages. And so how did I label my percentages? Well, if you have a look there, 6 I know is 6 out of 30 times 100, which is 20%. So that's why 20% is right across from the 6. So every 6 I go up is 20%, so therefore 12 is 40%. So labelling your axes at the same time for both is usually a very good way to go about things. I do need to start drawing my graph now, my bar chart. So down the bottom I have the 3 categories. So I have sandwich, I'll just call it sand for short. I've got salad, and I have a pie. Now remember, what I'm aiming to do here is have the bars being the same width and try to keep the same space between all of them. So I might do my salad there, my sandwich there, and my pie there. So let me put the bars in for you. So we know that there are 7 sandwiches, so the bar needs to go up to 7 on the frequency side, and you can see there that you could read off 23.3 on the right hand side for percentage frequency. All right, let's finish this off. So the other 2 there were the salad. I had to go up to 10 on my frequency, and we knew that that was about 33.3, which looks about right. And then my pies, there were 13, so I went up to 13. Again, hopefully what you can see there is that we have got the same spaces, tried to have the same spaces between the bars and try to have the bars the same width. So this was, if you like, if I wanted to label it as lunch, the other label on this axis is frequency, and my heading for this graph. So it's really important that you have a heading. So maybe children's lunch menu. So really, when you look at a graph, it should be self-explanatory. I shouldn't have to look back at the worded side of the question, and I shouldn't have to look at the tally table. The graph, I should be able to read all the information off that I need. That's why it's important that you have a heading and you label your axes and put all the information on properly.